I'm considering today, guys, this latest Watchtower Study article that came only a few days recently, was posted on jw.org, and it's study article 29 that will be studied later on during the end of the year. And this article has the theme, are you ready for the Great Tribulation? And why that is important is because the Watchtower has been using in the past 10 years many different aspects of prophecy, many different prophecies from the Bible to substantiate it, to give some flesh to their interpretation. And one of these little prophecies that the Watchtower has been using is the prophecy of the inner rooms. What are the inner rooms, I hear you asking? Well, it's based on a verse in Isaiah, this prophecy of the inner rooms. But before we go there, let's read paragraph 6 from this article, the article under the theme, Are You Ready for the Great Tribulation? Where it says this: when the tribulation begins, where will we find protection? Consider what Jehovah instructed his people to do when ancient Babylon was attacked. Go, my people, enter your inner rooms and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself for a brief moment until the wrath has passed away. So it's Isaiah 26:20. It seems the paragraph says that those words are also applied to us who will face the Great Tribulation. The inner rooms may refer to our congregations. During the Great Tribulation, we will find the protection that Jehovah promises as we remain united with fellow believers. Therefore, we must work hard, the paragraph says, now, not just to tolerate our brothers and sisters, but also to love them. Our survival may depend on it. So this, back in the old days, every house had the most inner room where people could find solace, could find, it would be dark, it would be cool to find respite from the everyday activities. And during time of political distress, of social breakdown, in the old days, people will hide in these places inside their houses. And that's what the verse is referring to, Isaiah 26:20. So that's what we are trying to analyze today. But what I find interesting is they say the inner rooms may refer to our congregations. And I'm thinking, well, if you don't know, if you're not 100% about what you're saying, since you're using the word may refer to, why you even write an article? If you are God's channel of communication, why do you even care to put something down in paper? Or do you just leave everything wide open just in case you can reinterpret what you interpret in the first place? And we know we've seen this, the Watchtower doing that so many times. But let's go back to these inner rooms. And it's very interesting before we delve into it, because the Watchtower said these inner rooms are the congregations, right? We need first to make sure what they mean with the word congregation, right? Okay? Because unless we get our definitions right, we can't really analyze the mind of the Watchtower on this prophecy. So if you go on jw.org and type in the word congregation, you get the following explanation of what congregation means. And it means this: a group of people gathered together for a particular purpose or activity. In the Hebrew scriptures, it generally refers to the nation of Israel. In the Christian Greek scriptures, it refers to individual congregations of Christians, but more often to the Christian congregation in general. So a congregation, according to the Watchtower, is not a building, it's the actual people, okay, with its structure, the elders, the ministerial servants, the pioneers, the publishers, the wife of the elders, I don't know, and all, the rank and file. So in other words, what they mean, during the time of the end, all these over 100,000 congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses will operate as the inner rooms, okay, where people can find salvation. This is a problem. There's a problem with that. And I'll explain the problem by giving you some examples from the past. In the days of Noah, okay, God instructed Noah to build the ark, okay. So the 8 people, the congregation of the 8 people, found solace, salvation in the place of the ark, the inner rooms of the ark. Okay, so you have 2 different entities. You have the 8 people, the congregation, and you have also the inner rooms, which is the ark. In the times of Lot, God saved Lot and his family and removed him from the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, the congregation of his family, to this little city over the mountain outside the area. And another example, which I think is where Isaiah is alluding to, this is the first original occasion, is the occasion of Exodus. Okay, the 10th plague, where Moses instructs the Israelites to put blood over the doorposts so the angel of the Lord cannot come in the inner rooms, right? And attack the Israelite firstborns. And I'll read you this verse from Exodus 12:23, where it says, "Then when Jehovah passes through to plague the Egyptians and sees the blood on the upper part of the doorway and on the 2 doorposts, Jehovah will certainly pass over the entrance, and he will not allow the plague of death to enter into your houses, into your inner rooms." Okay, so do you see, these are 2 different entities. So I hope you can understand where I'm coming from with this verse. Without being the case, the individual congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses cannot be the ones being saved as well as their place of salvation. It can't be the same thing, the 2 things at the same time. They can't. So a physical calamity requires a physical place of protection. You can't say symbolically the congregation will be protected. Well, protected how? Are you going to be standing in the middle of a field when all the physical disasters are coming onto you? You have to have a very secure place of protection. Like in the days of Noah, there was the ark. Like in the days of Moses, it was the houses with the blood over the doorposts. It has to be a physical location. Okay, so with that having been said, right, because there has been this confusion in the prophetical analysis of this verse, later on they created even more confusion by introducing the concept in a drama in 2021 in a district assembly, where you clearly see, I'll play this video now, you can clearly see that brothers and sisters are in an underground bunker, which looks like it is one of the bunkers of a house of a Jehovah's Witness, and only to be arrested during the end of the video from the army, from the military forces of the time.
Where are they? Check the basement. Shut that door.
See what's happening here, right? God said these inner rooms will serve as a place of protection, but the Watchtower clearly, in a drama, it shows you people being inside an inner room and being exposed, being taken as captives from the armies, from the police forces of the time. I think this is like truth in plain sight. The Watchtower, either unconsciously or there is an evil plan behind this organization. I can think both cases to be true. I can be convinced for both cases to be true. They show you an inner room where the actual people, instead of being protected, they are being taken captives. And that leads me to another verse where the Bible says clearly what's going to happen during the time of the end to believers, to faithful ones. and it is in Revelation 13:10, which is the three destinies of the church. This verse is called from the mainstream Christianity as the three destinies of the church. And it says this, which is very interesting. If anyone is meant for captivity, he will go into captivity. If anyone will kill with the sword, he must be killed with the sword. This is where it calls for endurance of the part of the holy ones. Do you see what I mean? It is quite possible that the Watchtower is building you up to have you captured, to have you go into prison, or to fall by the sword, because quite likely the people who will be taken away during those times, that they will be found in these fictitious imaginary inner rooms of the Jehovah's Witnesses propaganda and magazines, are being taken away to either go to prison or to be killed by the sword. And I think in this way they are fulfilling a prophecy. They are self-fulfilling a prophecy that they will lead their 9 million faithful to their destruction, to their death. Do you know why? Because they are blind. They don't know how to interpret prophecy, or even more likely, they are being guided, manipulated from an invisible hand that wants all these 9 million faithful Jehovah's Witnesses to die. So it's very important to know where is the actual place of salvation during the time of the end, because the Bible says there will be a place of salvation. There will be inner rooms that will offer you 100% guarantee protection during the time of the end. And I will consider that next time, because this is part 1, and I will consider exactly where these rooms are. It's very fascinating, and it's not what you think it is. It's very interesting. But before we close this video, I want to read you a couple of verses that the Watchtower never quotes, and they also refer to inner rooms. And if you read these verses, you come to an understanding that there's something sinister is happening here. So another prophecy in the little prophet of Amos in the Old Testament, and chapter 6 and verses 9 and 10 has to say this: and if 10 men are left in one house, they will also die. A relative will come to carry them out and burn them one by one, and he will bring their bones out from the house. Then he will say to whoever is in the inner rooms of the house, are there any more with you? And he will say, nobody. And then he will say, keep silent, for it is not the time to make any mention of the name Jehovah. Isn't that interesting? There will come a time when Jehovah's Witnesses who want to go out and witness, the last witness about Jehovah, they will be told to keep quiet and carry their dead out of his prophetic, fictitious inner rooms of the Jehovah's Witnesses. It'd be like the bunker that they have been taken away from the police, from the army of the time of the end. So do you see? There's something sinister going on here. Where is your protection? Is your protection in these inner rooms of certain death of Amos 6, 9 and 10? Or is it the protection of Isaiah 26:10, where we know that the inner rooms will serve as salvation during the time of the end? So I want you to have those verses in mind before you make an educated decision of where you're going to hide during the time of the end. That's very important, because if you choose the wrong place, you're going to die. You will be taken to captivity. You will end up in prison, or you'll fall by the sword. And as I said, I will make another video at the end of the week where I explain where these places of salvation are, these inner rooms that the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower, the governing body, will never give you the answer. So with that in mind, thank you for listening to me, guys. Please like and subscribe to help the channel, and I shall speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.